Hey, Washington Commanders fans. Today, we have two hot and exclusive news items that will leave any fan in awe. Our second piece of news is unmissable and has left some players surprised and intrigued by everything that's starting to happen with the Commanders. But now, let's start with our first news item. We know this is a crucial moment in the season where every play, every practice, and every decision counts. There are only a few days left before the team finalizes its initial 53-man roster, and as you well know, this is crunch time for many athletes. While some names are already locked in, like our beloved Terry McLaurin, Jaden Daniels, and veteran Bobby Wagner, there are a lot of guys out there on the training field giving their all to earn a spot on the roster. So, if you want to know who these players are, fighting tooth and nail to make the cut, stick with me until the end of this video. You won't regret it. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, you're missing out. Here, you stay up to date with everything happening behind the scenes with the Commanders, and more importantly, you become a part of our passionate fan community. So, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any updates. Now, let's get into talking about these Warriors who are doing everything they can to avoid getting cut. Starting with the story of Bryson Tain, who has been catching everyone's attention since the OTA practices. This guy is a playmaking machine. He stands out as a bigger target for quarterbacks Jaden Daniels and Marcus Mariota, especially compared to the other receivers on the roster, who are generally smaller. Tain has been using his physique and determination to stand out, and his story is one we love to see. An undrafted free agent from last season who had his moments here and there. But now, in his second year, it seems like he's found his rhythm. And you know what's even cooler? Seeing a guy who, since high school, has had this mentality of working hard to reap the rewards. He even said in an interview that this comes from his family. And we can see that on the field, right? Every practice day is an opportunity for him to show he deserves to be among the 53. During the first week of camp, he made a fourth down catch during a 2-minute drill. And in a joint practice with the Jets, he made 2 consecutive deep catches during one-on-one drills. In the preseason games, he had fewer snaps but didn't waste his chances. A 16-yard catch against the Jets and a 5-yard reception against the Dolphins. Now, for those who think the receiver position is already locked up, I'd say, hold on. The competition is heating up, and there might still be 1 or 2 spots available. If Tain keeps this momentum going, he has a good chance of securing his spot. But shall we talk about another name that's also in the mix? Tyler Owens. This name might not be very familiar to many of you, but listen, the guy deserves respect. He's not one of those players who makes the highlight reel, but he's one of those you really need to watch to understand his value. Most of Owens' contributions come on special teams, where he's been playing as a gunner on punt coverage, and he's been doing quite well in that role. Against the Jets, for example, he tackled returner Malachi Corley for no gain. And that wasn't all. He finished the game with 3 tackles, all solo stops. A true warrior. Against the Dolphins, Owens had an impressive series in the third quarter, with 2 tackles, including one for a 2-yard loss at the Commanders' 10-yard line. But his big moment was when he tackled Chris Brooks on a 59-yard run, preventing a sure touchdown. We have to acknowledge, Owens still has a lot of work ahead to secure his place on the roster, but if he continues showing this determination and skill on special teams, I'd say he's got a good chance. So, who else is on the list of potential surprises? Let's talk about Michael Wiley, the running back who had a solid college career at Arizona, racking up 1,612 yards and 12 touchdowns over 5 seasons. In the preseason games, Wiley hasn't had many opportunities to shine, but when he has, he's made sure to show what he's got. Against the Jets, he led the team with 34 yards on 8 carries, including an impressive 15-yard run on 3rd and 3 in the fourth quarter. And it didn't stop there. He also scored the touchdown that put Washington ahead 17-10, with 12 minutes remaining on the clock. The following week, against the Dolphins, Wiley showed more than just his ability as a runner. He also stood out as a receiver, making a 23-yard catch with Trace McSorley that brought the Commanders' offense to the Dolphins' 11-yard line. A play that left everyone in awe and put the team in a position to tie the game. The battle for the running back spots is intense, and Wiley will have to keep proving he deserves his place. But let's be honest, with performances like that, who's going to doubt him? And to close out this list of candidates, we can't forget to mention Jeff Driscoll, the quarterback who's also fighting for a spot. We may not know if the Commanders will keep 3 quarterbacks on the initial roster, but one thing is certain. Driscoll has stepped up in the absence of Sam Hartman, who's dealing with a shoulder injury. In the 2 games he played, Driscoll led the team with 165 yards and completed 68% of his passes. Not bad, right? But what really stands out is Driscoll's ability to run with the ball. In a play against the Jets, he made a 16-yard run that turned a 1st and 18 into a 2nd and 2, helping set up a 13-play drive. And if that's not enough to impress, his 41-yard run against the Dolphins was the 2nd longest play of the night by any team. The guy showed he could be an interesting option to add a different dimension to the Commanders' offense. Besides the players we've highlighted, there are other names also vying for a chance to make the 53-man roster. The competition is fierce, and the atmosphere in the training camp is pure adrenaline. We know this is the moment when every player needs to give their all, and it's no exaggeration to say that some of them are literally fighting for their careers. If you're as eager as I am to see who will stand out and earn these spots, keep watching because the show is just getting started. And while all this is happening, the Commanders' management is keeping a close eye. Adam Peters, the general manager, and the entire coaching staff are analyzing every move. They know that every decision they make now can directly impact the team's performance in the regular season. Will they make the right choices? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, the pressure is high, and every player knows they can't slip up. Now folks, it all depends on what the head coach and general manager Adam Peters see as a priority. Will they opt to keep a 3rd quarterback or prefer to add depth at another position? Now, we have some breaking news that's going to catch you by surprise and is causing quite a stir behind the scenes of the team. Jahan Dotson, our former 1st-round pick, has been traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. This news hasn't gone down well with some of our players. If you're a true Commanders fan, stay with me until the end of this video because we're going to break it all down together, and I'll tell you right now, there's a lot to discuss here. And of course, if you enjoy this type of content and want to stay up to date with all the latest news about our team, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. A trade with the Eagles? I know, it's hard to believe. For some of us fans, maybe this trade wasn't all that shocking, but let me tell you, my friends, for the players, the situation was quite different. And look, when the news broke, it was a real gut punch for many in the locker room. Wide receiver Martavis Bryant, for example, said in an interview with Scott Abraham of 7 News DC that the trade was a total shock. We found out before, just like you guys. It was kind of a shock for us. It's all part of the business. We have to keep moving forward, Bryant stated. See folks, even the players themselves were caught off guard, which shows that this decision came from the top and took everyone by surprise. And there's more. Dyami Brown, another wide receiver on the team, also spoke with Abraham and revealed he was speechless when he heard about the trade. You can feel the disbelief in the air, right? It's as if no one expected something like this to happen, especially when we're talking about a player like Dotson, who was a 1st-round pick. And you know what? This only reinforces how unpredictable the NFL world can be. Sometimes, what seems like a sure thing can change in the blink of an eye. And it doesn't stop there, folks. Offensive lineman Sam Cosmi also shared his thoughts on the matter in an interview with JP Finley of NBC Sports. I mean, unexpected, you know. Kind of a shock. You hate to see it, but there's a business aspect to this game that's bigger than me. Bigger than the guys in the locker room, said Cosmi. Those words say a lot, don't they? They show the human side of the players, the sadness of losing a teammate, but also the acceptance that the NFL is, above all, a big business. And that, my friends, is something that we, as fans, often forget. Now let's talk a little about Jahan Dotson himself. For those who followed training camp and the preseason games, it's no secret that Dotson was having trouble adjusting to the new regime in Washington under coach Dan Quinn. His performances were far from expected, and he seemed unable to find his footing in the team's offense. During interviews, his comments about his role on the team already hinted that something might change. Perhaps Dotson already felt that his time with the Commanders was coming to an end, but who would have thought it would end this way, right? Trading a promising player like him to a direct rival is at the very least a bold move. And this raises a very important question. Did the Commanders' front office make the right decision by trading Dotson to an NFC East rival like the Eagles? After all, if Dotson manages to shine over there, we're going to hear about it for a long time. We all know how it is, right? The rivalry is intense, and seeing a former player of ours shining in the opponent's jersey is not going to be easy to swallow. But on the other hand, some say Dotson just wasn't performing as expected here. Maybe a change of scenery is exactly what he needs to show his full potential. And speaking of which, I already want to know your opinion, fan. What do you think of this trade? Was it a good move by the Commanders, or did we make a mistake by sending Dotson to the Eagles? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because we're going to keep following this situation closely and keep you updated. Now I want to know, do you think this trade will come back to haunt us in the future, or was it a strategic move for the team's growth? Comment below.